Good morning and welcome to DDM Morning Show. Each day we bring you clear and honest talks about the important political and social issues that affect us all. Now join us as we share the news, ask key questions, and hear from pertinent voices. I'm Toshku Raphael, joined by DDM analyst Ibrahim Umar Wase and Akor Christian Oche, convener Due Process Integrity Vanguard. Glad to have you, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us, Mr. Tuchukurafel.
Right, that's Mr. Ibrahim. Today on DDM Money Show, these are the stories we have for you. First off, the drama unfolds as the DSS orders Twitter's CEO to delete a controversial tweet of Sowore calling President Tinubu criminal, a bold clash of free speech and power. Next, we'll explore the high-stakes battle between Nupeng's fight for union rights and Dangote's corporate giant. Now, who will come out on top? And finally, on the sports front, we tackle the big challenge facing the Super Eagles as they prepare to face South Africa without their star striker Victor Osimhen, following their narrow victory over Rwanda. Stay tuned as we break down each story one time. We shall be right back. All right, let's take it away. Now, the DSS orders President Tinubu's, the Department of State Services, DSS, has ordered the CEO of X, formerly Twitter, to delete a tweet posted by activist and publisher Omoyele Sowore that called President Bola Ahmed Tinubu a criminal and a liar for claiming to have ended corruption in Nigeria within 2 years. Now, this directive, sent in an official letter dated September 6, 2025, was addressed to the chairman and CEO of X Corporation in Texas, the United States of America, and demanded immediate removal of the post and the deactivation of Shore's account to prevent further circulation of what the DSS described as dangerous misinformation and hate speech. The controversial tweet posted by Sowore on August 26, 2025, accused President Tinubu of shameless lying during a state visit to Brazil. Now, if we can show, let's play the clip of the President Tinubu speech in Brazil.
The reform that I've embarked upon since I took over in Nigeria has been very impactful. I can beat my chest for that. It was initially painful, but today the result is blossoming. It's getting clearer to the people. We have more money to the economy, no more corruption. We have the governor of Central Bank here. You don't have to know him before you get the foreign exchange that you need. The speculators are out in our currency market. The door is open for businesses. Easy in, easy out.
All right, that was President Bola Tinubu's assertion of no corruption in Nigeria. And reacting to President Tinubu's statement, Sowore tweeted, and I quote, "This criminal, official bat, actually went to Brazil to state that there is no more corruption under his regime in Nigeria. What audacity to lie shamelessly." End of quote. Wow. Now, the DSS labeled the post a threat to Nigeria's national security, citing concerns that it could incite unrest, provoke ethnic and religious tension, and damage the reputation of the president and the country internationally. According to the DSS, Shore's message attracted widespread condemnations and could motivate some supporters of President Tinubu to take to the streets, thereby escalating political tensions. Citing Nigerian laws, including Section 51 of the Criminal Code Act, provisions of the Cyber Crimes Act 2025, and the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, the DSS urged that Shore's tweet continues constitutes cybercrime, hate speech, spreading false information, and acts that could amount to domestic terrorism. The intelligence agency warned that failure by X corporation to comply with the takedown request within 24 hours would compel the Nigerian government to take far-reaching legal and administrative actions against the platform. In response, Omoyele Sowore has publicly refuted or refused to delete the tweet and criticized the DSS order as an attempt to stifle free speech and democratic dissent. X Corporation has confirmed the receipt of the DSS legal request, but has yet to take action, emphasizing its policy to notify users about such government and demands and supporting users' rights to evaluate and respond legally. Now let's talk about this. Mr. Brahim.
All right. Good morning, viewers, once again. In Nigeria, sadly, we're living under an aristocracy hiding under the cloak of democracy. Nigeria, as a state, is supposed to be a democratic state whereby freedom of speech held sway. But if the government are not doing what is expected of them to do, definitely they will be very, they will have concern over what people are saying about their government. And I believe that constructive criticism is the lifeblood of any democratic society. Everyone should have the right to say what the government is doing is not right. Clearly, they are our servant. We voted them there to serve us, not to be served. But on the contrary, in African societies, most of these democratic governments, they are totalitarians pretending to be democrats. So in this old hula balloons trying to stop Sowore from saying, criticizing the government, I'm only seeing a genuine concern for our democracy that we as Nigerians should fight vehemently with everything that we have at our disposal. Because clearly, this is the sabotage of the democratic principle we all adhere to. Freedom of speech is clearly a part and parcel of any democratic society. So, Mr. Tochukura felt my stand here is that justice don't have a halfway. The federal government should allow everyone to have his own right that is entrenched in the human rights laws and international laws. And freedom of speech should not be, should I say, shouldn't stop. They should stop trying to stop Nigerians from saying what they feel is right for their own government, because we vote them there to serve us, not to be served. That's my contribution, Mr. Tujukurafa.
All right, let me use this opportunity to remind our audience, if you like this discussion or the topics that we have lined up for you, you have the leeway to make your comments, on our YouTube channel, and we should respond out to these comments. All right, now let me go back to this discussion. First off, Nigeria is a democracy, as you have mentioned. And in a democracy, everyone has a right to make a statement. Everyone has a right to say whatever he or she likes to say, especially in the area of criticizing the government. We know that in an authoritarian regime, no one has a right to criticize or slander the government. No, because the government, whatever it says, becomes law. It's unchallengeable. So in this case now, Ashore is a public figure. He's not just an ordinary person. He has been known as somebody who is a face of, a true and formidable opposition. In Nigeria, we have two classifications of opposition personalities or opposition groups. The first one is what I call conventional opposition personalities. In this group, you find the likes of Atiku Abubakar, Nasser El-Rufai, Malame, and the rest of them. They are called, conventional opposition personalities because people regard them or label them as, being recycled politicians or those who have been part of the process or system. And so they are conventional. Then the second group is what I call the um, radical, the ideological opposition personalities. The ideological opposition personalities. And this is further subdivided into two. We have the conventional ideological opposition personalities, and then we have the radical ideological opposition personalities. So when you come to the ideological, the conventional ideological opposition personalities. We have somebody like Peter Obi, who has been associated with what Nigerians may call the old politicians.
Mr. Tochukurafer, we lost you. We can't see your camera. Sorry, viewers, we are having some technical glitch here, but we'll fix it soon. Mr. Tuchukurafel, I can't hear you. I can't hear you at all. All right, audience, we were discussing about, we're analyzing what um, the tweets of Omoyele Sowore accusing Tinubu and the attempt of the government to stop that tweet. So, as you know, on September 6, 2025, the Department of State DSS formally wrote to Xscope, formerly Twitter, demanding the immediate removal of a tweet by Omoyele Sowore and even the deactivation of his verified accounts. The tweet is question post on August 25, 2025, accused President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of lying about corruption having ended under his administration. Sowore refused to comply. In a defiant response shared on his X handle at Sowore, he confirmed receipt of X notification, which emphasized that while the DSS claimed the content violate Nigerian law, no action had been taken and vowed not to delete the tweet. Civil society groups swiftly weighed in. Amnesty International condemned the DSS approach, calling it a censorship overreach and a violation of both Nigerian constitutional protection and international human rights obligation. And what are the political and legal implications? Sovereign states do hold the right to regulate digital content, especially when national security is claimed. However, in this case, the DSS assertion that Sowore's tweet risks inciting violence or disunity is legally fraught, particularly absent the court's order restricting political commentary without judicial oversight risk sliding into authoritarian censorship. And Sowere's refusal to back down aligned with democratic ideal. His stance highlights how political dissent, even when sharply critical, is fundamental to accountability and public discourse. His activism and willingness to confront the state echoes his past as a presidential candidate and advocate for civil liberty. And X transparency policy alerting users to legal content removal requests demonstrates the delicate balancing act in the international tech platform. And these are more are what we're discussing today on Morning Show. So we're going to switch gear to our second topic, which is Victor Osimhen's absence in the Super Eagles courts for the African World Cup qualifier. So, and with us, we have Mr. Ifeanyi, who is going to be our special guest for today's sport program. And Mr. Ifeanyi, what do you think is the implication of Victor Osimhen's absence to the Super Eagles course?
Okay, thank you for having me. Well, first I must commend Victor Osimhen. It's not all about playing on the pitch. What he did in the last match, inside the pitch, even when he left the pitch, you know, um, giving morale to the players on the pitch by commanding. It reminded me of Euro 2016 when Cristiano Ronaldo got injured on the pitch on the final of the Euros against France. Even when he left the pitch, he was still commanding, directing. So Shime, did something like that, a similar thing in our last match against Rwanda, which we won. So it's a big loss, I must say. Oshime is our biggest personality. He's a very big player for us, and I must say we will miss him definitely. But South Africa is not, for me, South Africa is not a football team that we should be afraid of, even without Oshime. Why do I say this? I feel what will I say? What Aston Villa is to Liverpool is what South Africa is to Nigeria. We have big personalities aside Oshime. So what I feel is Oshime can impact our game against South Africa by, some kind of advices to the young striker, Tolu. The promising striker is very good. I watched, some glimpses of him in our last game against Rwanda. He did very well. He's not that skillful, but he's got some, what I call it, physicality, and we will need that against South Africa. The South African team plays a brand of football called the Kasi football. They are very direct, very fluid in attack, very, very skillful. So Oshime is a very big loss. But I'm calling on our manager to seek for some sort of what I call the second plan. And that second plan for me is Tolu, the striker that scored for us in our last game. So if you can stick to the major plan, but before I go further, let me commend the Super Eagles for getting the 3 points in our last game. Even though the 3 points didn't come beautiful, Rwanda is not a country that we should score one then go back. So it's for me, it was not that super game, but the most important thing is the 3 points, and it's remaining 3 games now. We are on 10 points, I think. Yes, we are on 10 points. South Africa on 16, then Benin on 11. So Benin will be playing Lesotho. Yes, they will be playing Lesotho, and Lesotho is a winnable game for South Africa. So we should be going into this game with the mindset of win, even without Osimhen. Because you can't tell me that in Nigeria, in a winnable group like ours, can't win against South Africa, even in their home turf. You understand? So I believe, for me, I'm a realist. I'm a football realist. Even though I think currently South Africa plays a very beautiful kind of football, but I think we have everything that it takes to get the 3 points. The most important thing is to get the 3 points. And for us to get the 3 points, there are basics like, the midfield. In our last match, we played more defensive, playing about 3 defensive midfielders. Onyeka was there, Ndidi, Wilfred Ndidi, and Iwobi. So if we are going to be direct without Osimhen, obviously, I believe our coach, for me, has understood that experience is not everything. What am I saying? In our last game, he was brave enough to bench, Truth Ekong, our very good midfielder, if not our best. Just that age, is telling on him to play the young defender. I mean, Fred. So by doing so, I believe Tolu, what Didier Drogba was to Chelsea is what Tolu is for Nigeria. So it's high time we start banking on young players. Even though I believe if Osimhen was fit, he would have still made it to the lineup against South Africa. But I think Tolu will give us more than enough to get the 3 points against South Africa, and it's a must win for us. You understand? So for me, Osimhen is a miss. After all, sometimes Baka play without Lamine Yamal, and they will end up winning match. In some big games, big clubs lose their best players and find a way to win their matches. You understand? So the most important thing, I don't think we should center uh, um, on Victor Osimhen. I think we should find a way to win without Victor Osimhen. And I also think Victor Osimhen should be part of the plan for the team against South Africa without playing. There are ways he could do that, by some advices to our young starlets, young striker, Tolu, very promising. So I believe he will get the job done. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
I hear you loud and clear. You are audible.
Yes,
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, okay,
This is a
okay. So,
very nice analysis from your end. But how far do you think Nigerian team will go, even if they qualify to the World Cup? We have a new phase of World Cup whereby 48 countries are going to participate, unlike the previous one that have 32 countries, and it will be hosted across 3 different countries. How far do you think Nigeria will go? Because I think the highest Nigeria have reached was quarterfinal. No, 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 an round of 16. But this time around, with the caliber
round of
of
16,
players
yes.
and the quality we have in the squad, how far do you think Nigeria will reach?
Well, I think for me, we should take it a step at a time. This South African match, we should see it as a final. we should take it as it is the World Cup final. That is the way forward. We should see the South African game as the World Cup final first. Then if we can get the 3 points, it's an advantage to us. Even though I think, personally, I don't like our brand of football because on paper, Nigeria is the biggest African footballing nation. You know, we have currently we have the African best player, the current African best player, and the immediate past African best player, Oshime. You know, with Ademola Lookman, the current best player. So on paper, I think we have the biggest personalities in African football. So on paper, we should be ahead of other African countries in the World Cup in USA, Canada, and Mexico coming up next year. So, but for me, I'm a realist. I don't like speaking on you know what will I call it now so that you understand me. I don't want to sound rude, but that South African game should be, for me, it's the final for me before any World Cup finals. It's the finals, so we should win that game. So I believe when we win that game, I believe I will be in the next shows that you guys will be having. Then we can talk about the how Nigeria can improve in World Cup 2020 if we qualify, because the most important goal now is to qualify for the World Cup 2026 World Cup. We should not miss. If we miss now, it means we are missing for 2 straight World Cups, and it's not good for our name. Nigeria is a very big brand, when it comes to football, African football. We shouldn't miss that World Cup. It's very, very vital, to our name, to the ego that we always flap. So, for me, the vision should be deliver the South African game. Then we have 3 more games now. You deliver the 3. We shouldn't be fighting for a draw, because our last game. I'm sorry for deviating. Our last game against Rwanda, I noticed something, and it got me worried. What I noticed was we played a very defensive approach to a Rwanda that is not even up to 5% of our standard, of the Nigerian standard. In the last 10 minutes of that game, I was even begging God that you should give us these 3 points. Imagine Rwanda pressing us in the World Cup that you're asking me of. How Nigeria will perform. You have the likes of the big giants in the world, the Spain, the France, the Germany, Brazil, Argentina's. So if you played like that against a Rwandan side, a rookie Rwandan side, what more if you find yourself in a World Cup against Argentina, what would you do? So for me, that performance against Rwanda should not happen again. That performance should be, will I call it, let's say, it's because we want to qualify, 3 points by war, by fight, according to Mourinho. So for me, we should take that South African game very seriously. Get the 3 points, not play for draw, play for a win. Like I said before, the South African side is a very attacking side. So we should play very well, get our tactics right, play the right set of players. Don't play because of name. Like I pointed out, that Fred in that back line, that center back, that Fred, the pairing of Fred and Bassi is very good. We need that pairing against South Africa if we are to stand a chance of getting a draw at 3 points. We should get the 3 points, but if we get a draw and play Benin Republic loses or draws, that would be a very good result.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you, Mr. Ifeanyi. But before we round up that topic, I would like to ask you an important question. You know, Nigeria in football, we have a lot of stars, but most of the stars are not even representing Nigeria. They are representing other countries. We have, for example, players like Bukayo Saka, Eze. We have players like Jamal Musiala. A lot of players, lot of talents. What do you think is the reason behind Nigerians opting to represent other countries rather than their own country?
Okay, that's a very lovely question. The reason is very simple. It has always been one reason, which is bad governance. You know, the ability of our government to recognize the talents that we have in Nigeria. We have, brilliant talents in Nigeria when it comes to sports, not just football. When it comes to sports generally, boxing. I can remember the heavyweight champion. What was his name? Um, the one that boxes for UK, Joshua. You
Anthony
know,
Joshua.
he's a Anthony Joshua. Yes, he's he's a full blown Nigerian, by birth even. So I remember I don't know if the story is I don't know if the story is true. I don't know how true that story is, but and I remember Anthony Joshua saying he wanted to box for Nigeria, but they denied him access, saying he wasn't fit enough, that kind of story. So it's the same thing for football. We have talents, just like you mentioned, the Cialas, the Bukayo Sakas, many of them, even in the past, we had Abonaho then, a prolific striker then. So, you ask yourself, why didn't they play for Nigeria? It's very simple. Bad governance. Assuming we have a government that's been able to say, okay, we have young talent. Let's give them room to improve. Let's set standards for this young talent. You know, for instance, the captain of I think he's the captain of Austria, Alaba, one of the best left backs in world football. So, uh, hello, can you hear me? Hello, Ibrahim.
Hear you loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, okay. So, like I was saying, it's down to the government to recognize the talent. When one thing I love about the French national team and the English national team, they always recognize talents, irrespective of your country. They accept talents. So why can't Nigeria do the same? I'm not asking them to recognize foreign people. Recognize your own people who have the natural talents, develop them, give them um, the background, the fair background to thrive. That should be it. You know, and we've had some players like Mikel Obi, you know, great legend of Nigeria. Mikel Obi, even Oshimera is currently playing for Nigeria. Complain about salary payments and all that. I think there was a time Mikel Obi had to pay for, you know, I'm sorry to say this, but at that point, I I I I was doubtful if that was true because it's shameful that a player would pay salaries of his fellow players when there should be a budget for sports. If you see a country that is very if you see a country that is very like very serious with sports, one thing they do is they invest heavily on sports. Like England and France national team have a very big budget on sports because people neglect sports. In Nigeria, we tend to look into other areas like oil and the rest of them. Also, but sports is very, very vital in development of youth, you know. So for me personally, I think Nigerian government should be blamed for most Nigerian players playing for foreign countries. I don't blame any Nigerian player seeking for greener pasture. Because if I play for several months and you don't pay me, I will seek somewhere else to play, to get food. Because I can't be playing. If before I play for you, I should be able to eat first. Then I'll have the desire and the strength to play for you. If you don't have the right funds, how will you be able to play for your nation? So for me, the basics should be develop the young talents, the upcoming. I would see it as a mistake, a past mistake in football, you know. But let's correct it now. Let's put a stop to the anomaly that is happening. Let's call a spade, tell ourselves the truth. We have, talents that are even better than the best out there in Europe. Oshime is one of the most sought after strikers in world football. Ademola Lookman, one of the most sought after attackers in world football. We have brilliant players. We have Ndidi, one of the best DMs in football. So why not look into other players, encourage them to play for their country, not just encouraging them, give them their right benefits. You know, this is very simple. Sometimes I'm very like I'm surprised I'm even saying this on air because Nigeria should know the right thing to do. Then I mean, the Nigerian government should know the right thing to do in order to improve our sports, not just football. When you say football, football is part of. It's just like 2% of the sports we have in Nigeria. We have a lot of them: boxing, basketball, tennis. Or so that's my take on it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ifeanyi. It's indeed a pleasure having you on this program. And I have seen that you're a Manchester United fan, right? This question is
Yeah.
for you directly from an
Well,
Arsenal fan. What's the position do you think Manchester United will finish this season?
I'm a die hard Manchester United fan. Die hard.
All right, all right. But I believe you're going to finish in the normal 16 position, or 15. I mean, this season you're going to improve and finish 14 probably.
If I end below 10th, that means Arsenal will be ending below fourth position.
You know,
To
Arsenal,
you, it's
Arsenal,
impossible. Just like it's
the
impossible for
worst
me to
position
finish.
that even Rivals fans are praying for us to finish is that second. So now we know second position is the worst position for Arsenal. First position is the best, and we're going for the best this season. It's all or
Well,
nothing this
teams
season.
have well. Let me shock you. Let me shock you. Teams have improved. So if you relax the way you've been relaxing, if your club, let me put it that way, if your club relaxed the way you guys have been relaxing before, you'll be shocked that you finish below fourth because teams like Chelsea, even Man, you have improved. So you'll
We'll
be shocked that
see.
you will
We'll
see
see.
yourself below.
We'll see. We'll see. Thank you. It's a pleasure having you on this program, Mr. Ifeanyi.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. Thank you very much, Ibrahim.
Mr.
It's a
Techukura,
pleasure.
over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Fine, for your. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and
That was
clear.
Mr. Fine. Is football sports analyst. He spoke so profoundly and somebody who has experience in football and other sports. So we have to thank him for what he has done. Then I have to apologize for the little technical glitch I had earlier, but we have to continue with our last topic for today. The Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, otherwise known as NUPEN, and the Dangote Group are locked in a fierce confrontation with NUPEN, threatening a nationwide strike in response to alleged anti-union practices by Dangote's refinery management. The crisis centers on Dangote's plan to import 4,000 compressed natural gas CNG powered trucks for fuel distribution, with the company reportedly recruiting drivers who are forced to avoid union membership. This move by Dangote's refinery is seen by Nupeng as a direct attack on workers' rights and union freedoms guaranteed under Nigeria's 1999 constitution and international labor laws that Nigeria has signed. The conflict has escalated since August 29, 2025, when the Dangote refinery, owned by business magnates Aliko Dangote and Sayu Aliu Dantata, began recruiting truck drivers under terms that prohibit union membership. Le Pen condemned this policy, labeling it an affront to the right of the association and a scheme to monopolize fuel distribution, which the union claims will hurt thousands of petroleum tanker drivers and Nigerian consumers alike. The union officially announced its strike to commence on Monday, September 8, 2025, thereby risking nationwide fuel shortages and economic disruption. The dispute is unfolding at a crucial time for Nigeria's energy sector as the country seeks to achieve fuel self-sufficiency following the establishment of Dangote's $20 billion refinery, which boasts a 650,000 barrels per day capacity. Nupeng initially supported the refinery's construction on the promise of job creation and industry growth, but now accuses Dangote of betraying this trust through monopolistic and anti-worker practices that threaten the sector's stability and workers' livelihoods. Now, Nupeng's president, William Saborina, and General Secretary Afolabi Olawale have called on the federal government and the regulatory institution to intervene and hold the recruitment policy that undermines union rights. Furthermore, the union urged the labor organizations, including the Nigerian Labour Congress and international labor bodies, to join a solidarity movement against what it described as economic sabotage and the tyranny within the Dangote Group. On the other side, the Petroleum Tanker Drivers, PTD, a critical branch under Nupeng, but with divergent views, rejected the strike directive, labeling it insensitive and harmful to Nigeria's socio-economic progress. The group insists that union membership is voluntary and defended Dangote's strategy as an effort to modernize fuel distribution. The group, alongside with other trucking associations like the Direct Trucking Company Drivers Association, called for peaceful dialogue and urged workers to scrutinize which unions genuinely represent their interests. Despite these internal difficulties, the NLC has openly backed the bank strike that threat, condemning the Dangote's group alleged anti-union stance as a systemic pattern of impunity and monopolistic behavior. The NLC warned that it had placed workers nationwide on high alert, ready to support industrial action to defend labor rights and unionization across Dangote's business. How this unfolding between Nupeng and Dangote captures a critical struggle for control over Nigeria's burgeoning petroleum distribution sector. It is a test of workers' rights versus corporate ambitions, raising questions about the proper balance between economic modernization and social justice. The outcome holds significant implications, not only for labor relations, but also for the strategy ahead. All right, let's talk about this development. Mr. Ibrahim, this, can you hear me? Mr. Ibrahim?
First and foremost, Mr. Tukurafel,
All right.
you have serious technical issues from your end. First and foremost, remove that your earpiece and mute the sound on the television because it's echoing. We can't hear what you're saying. Most of the thing you're saying, we can't hear you.
All right.
All right, Mr. Tochukwu, ask the question again. I'm listening to
All right,
you.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Right. What do you think about this altercation between Dangote and the NUPENG, the group responsible for the distribution of fuel across Nigeria? But here you are, Dangote says he's importing, he's buying his own, flight of trucks for the distribution. So do you see it as he wants to, dominate the market or no, monopolize the market or thereabout?
All right. I honestly believe you see in business, monopoly should not even be something we should start asking or talking about because these businessmen these businessmen, and I think it's even entrenched in business in a capitalist society that you want to monopolize everything and be the best among your own competitors. So I don't know the intent because clearly I'm not Dangote, I'm not speaking, and I'm not speaking for him. But what I know is certain is the fact that Dangote wants to be the best in that area. And I'm not expert on that field, so I choose not to talk much on that particular field. I think we need someone who has a vast knowledge on the oil and gas sector to come and give us a better explanation on what's happened there. Mr. Tochukurafe, there is an echo still going now.
Can you see me? I can't see you. I didn't even hear what you said. Can you see me, Mr. Ibrahim?
I can't see anything. Your camera, everything. I don't know what's happening to you.
But you can hear my voice.
I can hear your voice in a very, very low tone.
Hmm. This is bullshit.
All right. I would like to invite one of our guests to come and talk about the um, cohorts, new cohorts by Diaspora Digital Media. Um, Mr. Onyeji Josiah.
This laptop is nonsense.
All right, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim, for having me. I will make this quickly highlighted. I'll be talking about Indian academics cohort 5 to cohort 6. Yeah. So the cohort is an opportunity where both the young and old get to acquire relevant digital skills in our present Gen Z era. So the main oil money currently is tech, and everyone is diving into tech. The upcoming uprise of AI and all that. Some are worried that their jobs are fake because there are rumors that people's job will be replaced by AI. But the truth is that if you don't know how to use AI tools, then your job will be replaced. So this course 6 offers everybody the opportunity to learn relevant digital skills ranging from front-end web development, back-end web development, application development, graphic design, digital marketing, digital literacy, and a whole lot more. So the idea is just to equip everyone with that knowledge so that at any point in time you won't be lacking when the skill is being required. And location is not the problem. So whether we have our academy physical at Anambra State, Maputo to be precise, we choose to learn on site and come over. We have accommodation, we have electricity, we have 247 data like internet access for everyone that is present in the academy. And you can also choose to join us online. You probably join the virtual class. So either way, you still have the opportunity to learn what you need to learn and upgrade yourself in our present moving digital world.
Mr. Josiah, it's a pleasure having you on the DM Money Show. All right. With that, we would like to draw the curtain. One, whether in politics, the economy, or sports, Nigerians struggle always come back to balance of power and responsibility. From the DSS versus free speech to Nupeng versus corporate giants and the Super Eagles' reliance on Osimhen, we see the same pattern. When a single institution, person, or idea holds too much weight, the system becomes fragile. Nigeria's strength must lie in building institutions, not adults, systems, not shortcuts. If we defend freedom of expression, balance labor with capital, and invest in the teams rather than individuals, then both our democracy and our football will have a stronger backbone. The question is, are we ready to shift from survival mode to building mode? The answer, my friend, is in how we choose to act, not for Lagos, but in every corner of this nation. I am Ibrahim Umarwasi with my ever energetic co-host Tochukwu Raphael, and this has been the DDM TV Morning Show. Let's meet again tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp, where conversation speak change and the people voice always find it home. Thank you once again. Good morning.